Hello friends, this is Chuck and I'm the Book Dweller, and I'm coming at you live and in color, especially red color. Just wanted to give everybody kind of a quick personal update. I haven't really been posting any videos lately. I've only been posting a few things on Instagram, the Book Dweller Instagram page, kind of keep things going. Just a quick summary. February, my dad's funeral was in February. My mom's funeral was in March. And my sister-in-law of 25 years or so passed away. Her funeral was yesterday. So about the last 8-9 weeks have been pretty rough around here and for the family, the extended family. So I've been kind of out of sorts a little bit. So I just been kind of grieving a lot. But I want to kind of get back on track. So decided that I thought I'd do a Todd the Librarian tribute here and have a cold one during the video. More like lukewarm, but it's okay. So I thought what I'd do today is do everything that I bought in March. Not a ton of stuff, but it's a decent stack. And my musical spotlight for this video is the thrash metal band Overkill, who will be coming to my town here in May, just about a month away. So we'll get to them at the end. So I think what I'd like to do, I posted this on Instagram the other day, but I thought I would show it now. This is a picture I dug up. I'll see if I can show it without too much glare. That is a picture of me back in the 90s when I lived in San Francisco, my wife and we met Skip and Spectre at a cool bookstore, and they were so sweet. And actually, I believe Poppy C. Bright was there that night too. But there you go. That's me with Skip and Spectre. So, cheers. All right, so I thought I'd start out the video with all the non-fiction books I got. And then we'll segue into this kind of stuff we normally do. So the first one I actually bought from my wife Betsy, who you would not be seeing me without her because I don't know how to do all this stuff. But so this is for her, Patti Smith M Train. A little quick story. Our daughter, who's about to graduate from high school, my wife Betsy was actually pregnant with her when we saw Patti Smith live. It was my first time. So there's your little quick Patti Smith story. I have another book that you've seen, if you've seen my Thomas Jefferson video by John Meacham. Anyway, I found the book that he did on Roosevelt and Winston Churchill. Pretty cool hardback, as everybody knows, or should know. I'm a history buff. A lot of times history is pretty dry and boring, but I still love history books. And here's another John Meacham book that I found. The American Lion on Andrew Jackson. So I would say that Jackson gets a lot of negative press, a lot of negative about the Native American stuff. So we'll see. But I like John Meacham, so get a little history going. And this is an interesting one I've never seen before. This is Fear and Loathing: The Strange and Terrible Saga of Hunter S. Thompson. It's even got the Ralph Steedman drawing on it. But I looked at this, and one of the first lines says, "Reader beware. This is a violently unauthorized biography." So evidently Hunter S. Thompson didn't care for this book. But still, for I think it was less than $1. Had to have it. Cool. This is another guy who I have a bunch of his books right there. I know you can't see them, but they're within arm's length. Richard Dawkins, The Blind Watchmaker. Why the Evidence of Evolution Reveals a Universe Without Design. As you can tell, Dawkins is one of the leading atheists in the whole world. So, gives you an idea of what my religious beliefs are. I was born in 1965, which is pretty much the start of what I call the American War in Vietnam. So, I'm kind of intrigued by that particular war. Just because the first 10 years of my life, we were there, not we. This is Kai San, Siege in the Clouds, the Oral History. I was starting to do a little research about Kai San. Evidently there was a big battle there. There was some kind of base there. Doesn't really matter who won that battle because we all know who lost that war. Everybody involved. Actually, the U.S. got their ass kicked. But anyway, this will segue into a couple sci-fi books. I have Special Deliverance by Clifford D. Seamack, I believe, or Simac. So I thought I'd give, I'm just, you know, trying to open up my mind to some sci-fi stuff. And I'm always out looking for a bargain, too, when I go book shopping. So, and I just fell in love with this cover. The Best of Fritz Leiber. Look at that bad boy. What a great little hardback here. Short stories of Fritz Leiber. I think it was like $3. So how can you pass that up? Just beautiful. And this one here is an anthology called Sci-Fi Author's Choice 4. I guess all the people involved in this book actually picked what was their favorite stories. Edited by Harry Harrison. Let's see if we got some names we recognize in here. Clifford D. Simac, which we just talked about. Robert Sheckley. Jack Vance. Roger Zelazny. Gordon Dixon. Arthur C. Clarke. John Brunner. So there's some in there, but still got the plastic on its perfect condition. So I can't pass up a bargain. So then we'll segue into this one I got at a thrift store. I think was about $1. The Untold Legend of Batman. And it's like a comic, I guess, graphic, somewhat graphic novel. But still pretty cool for $1. I'm not the biggest Batman fan, but I still dig it. I still dig the Batman movies. This one is obviously one of my all-time favorites, Richard Lehman, Friday Night in Beast House. I think I have it, but if anybody saw my Richard Lehman video a little while ago, knows how much Richard Lehman will always have a huge place in this library and my heart. So, Friday Night in the Beast House. Whenever I find a Lehman book cheap, I get it. This one I know, Leon the Paperback Maniac is a big fan of R. Patrick Gates. And this is Vader's. I think we all agree that Grimm Memorials and the follow-up Grim Reapings were just fantastic. Not to mention The Prison. I have the R. Patrick Gates books right here. Those are all... I don't think he's had any books that I didn't like. So I finally snagged this one recently. So as far as I know, I have everything by him. And you know me, I'll show them all eventually. As this is just a haul. Next is Gerard Horner. Road to Hell. I think Max is a man, an assassin to be exact. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. But I have another one of his, which is from one of my favorite publishers, Necro Publication. This is called Pain Freak, and it's a little book of short stories. I guess you would call that a kind of a chapbook novella type. I would say this probably falls under the splatterpunk namesake. And then next, I actually found 3 from this guy. So I was very happy. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his other books up there on the shelf, which you cannot see, but I'll show you eventually. John Ferris. Actually, Ray Garton kind of got me back into John Ferris. I used to have some years ago, but I'm Facebook friends with Ray Garton. We all love him. He's like, you ought to give him a try again. So I've been starting to get him again. So this is The Fury and the Power. And this is Fiends. John Ferris. It's always nice to find those books. And this one I thought was kind of a find. The Uninvited, old hardback. And we see what a young John Ferris looks like. So I'm starting to get pretty many of them. And obviously if you find them, you buy them. Leon the Paperback Maniac did a somewhat recent video, which everyone should check out, obviously Leon, because he's awesome. But he did a John Shirley retrospective or an update. So I had this one, Black Butterflies. I think I may have shown this when I first got it. So I wanted to throw it in there. And this is one called Bleak History. And man, John Shirley's books are hard to find. But I think I found this at Half Price Books. So I snagged it. And like I say, with the way things have been crazy around here in the family, I haven't had a chance to actually look at the books. Next is a name that everyone on here should know, Brian Keene. I have a bunch of his right here. So we'll get to Mr. Keene at another time, Rising. So nice to keep an eye out for his. And he does have a podcast too, which is pretty cool. Next is Ramsey Campbell, Silent Children. Always on the lookout for Mr. Campbell, who actually seems like a very sweetheart. I've never seen this one before. Hardback, Go Snow by Ramsey Campbell. So I'm getting to the point where no matter what, if I see him, I snag him. So, and I have some more of him. Obviously, we'll get to him. This is Montag Summers, who did the introduction to this. The Supernatural Omnibus. As you can tell by the cover of what's covered in this big monster. So, I like that. And here's one I'd never seen before by Montag Summers. I just picked this up the other day. At a, is that a library sale? I can't remember. Vampires and Vampirism. Montag Summers. That might... no. But anyway. The only other book I have by this gentleman is Children of the Night. And that's Dan Simmons. Black Hills. Obviously a library copy. I'm fortunate enough in my little town here where they have Friends of the Public Library. Sweet. Never seen a book over $4 in hardback up there. This is a one that I wasn't sure when I first saw it what it was, but then I checked it out. And I've never read any of the quote-unquote bizarro genre. I guess you could call it subgenre. So when I saw this, I snagged it. Some Things Are Better Left Unplugged by Vincent W. Sikowski. So there again, their books are usually small. This is Eraserhead Press. So anytime I find those, I have to educate myself more on those because I think sometimes they pass me by. I don't know what they are. But I snagged it, and I've always wanted to read quote-unquote bizarro fiction. So I will. These next three guys are kind of in the same category. Not maybe. Well, yeah, maybe. Anyway, Bill Kreider, very good friends with Joe Lansdale. Just seemed like a sweetheart of a man. Teacher, educator, writer. He has this series called The Dan Rhodes Mystery. And this is Survivors Will Be Shot Again. And this was another one I got at the library sale. Dan Rhodes is the sheriff of this little town. Usually they're funny, lighthearted, along the lines of that Southern Texas writer. But I have a ton of Bills. I'll do a Bill Kreider one eventually. But I'm so glad I found this one. Because the Dan Rhodes Mysteries I really loved and enjoyed. So that was a great find. And Friends of Bill Kreider. Ed Gorman. Ticket to Ride. I don't know if you can see back there, that one whole section there. I got about 60 Ed Gorman books. So one day we'll do a monster Ed Gorman spotlight. So, same way, it's hard to keep track of which ones you have when you have that many. And lastly is another Southern writer who kind of falls in the lines of Larry Brown. A friend of mine from Athens, Georgia suggested him, and that's Barry Hannah. I cannot find his books. I have two, and these were right next to each other at that library sale. Bats Out of Hell and Airships. Airships. What the hell? I think these are both short story collections. So that gives me 4 Barry Hannah books. So it's weird how you would think where I live, there's so many bookstores here. So I want to segue right into the musical spotlight for this one, and it's one of my favorite thrash bands of all time, and it's Overkill. Going to throw a couple cassettes at you. This is just Wrecking Your Neck Live. When I actually had a cassette player. I have one, but it doesn't work. But I wanted to dig out all the Overkill stuff. So cassette number 1. This is Feel the Fire. See if I can keep the glare out. Yeah. There we go. Awesome. More cassettes. WFO wide fucking open. Great stuff. More great stuff. This one actually has an old ticket stub in it. But, I'm not going to pull it out. This is the Killing Kind. Let's see if we can get that there. Close enough. One more cassette. This is Horoscope Classic Overkill here. Rocket's Red Glare. Holy cow. So next we will go straight into vinyl. Some Overkill vinyl. Under the Influence. Man, I just love the Overkill logos. They all make for great shirts. Would make great book covers. Next is the Years of Decay. These are all on black vinyl. No color vinyl here, which would be cool to have them on green. Cool band photos. Great stuff there. Next is an oldie. Taking Over. This back cover's even better. Yeah. Sweet. Save the EP for last. I probably won't have to announce what the name of this EP is, as you can read. And we'll go into some CDs. Save that one for last. This is I Hear Black. Straight out of New Jersey. The Necro Shine. Cool. Let's see. Bloodletting. Probably one of my favorites here, From the Underground and Below. Man, that was good. Every song just smoking thrash, man. The Grinding Wheel. And the brand new one, which they're touring on. Like I say, I'll be seeing them in almost exactly a month from now. It is the Wings of War Overkill on Nuclear Blast Records. You can look them up on YouTube, man. Great American Thrash. That is it for all the stuff. So just on a quick serious note, I just want to thank, I have a lot of friends on YouTube now and on BookTube and Instagram. But there were a couple that reached out, you know, during this period with the 3 people that passed away in my family. Thank you so much. I don't know if everybody realized it. It seems like you think when you get in your mid-50s or early to mid-50s, you can handle your parents passing away so close and another sister-in-law, but you can't. You really can't. So besides the people on BookTube and Instagram and friends and family and work, it's really helpful to make it through this time. So thanks everybody for your patience. I'm going to try to get right back in there. Cameron Chaney, I've been promising to do a Robert Bloch video, and I'm going to do it next Saturday. I'm looking at the Robert Bloch books right now. So next Saturday or Sunday, whenever it is, whatever is going on, we're going to have a Bloch party. So we'll break out some serious Robert Bloch books next week. Thanks everybody for liking and subscribing. The Instagram page, I love it. It's nice to share comments and books and all those other stuff. So thanks for all that, everybody. And I think that's going to do it. So everybody, please have a great week. Stay alive, and I'll see you later.